Hello, welcome to my latest video. This is not an educational one, it's purely for entertainment. It's the first time I've ever done this technique of a string fall painting. If you want to see how it's done, go and look at Wayne the Woodturner's channel, who I'm sure you already know about. I've done a very simple ash vase. This is about 12 inches by about 4.5 inches roughly. So we start off by just knocking the bark off and getting ourselves round and chuck a tenon on the end so I can get it into a chuck. I've gone quiet. I forgot what I was going to say here. I was going to say something. Anyway, let's go faster. Why not? So yeah, running round, chuck a tenon on. The vase shape I'm going for is based on a glass vase that my wife has, which I quite like the shape of. So it's curved at the bottom. Give myself a little bit of parting off space. Then it tapers up towards the top. I think this will suit my intentions nicely. Now I'm using the Hamlet Big Brother hollowing tool, which is the most boring because I can't see what I'm hollowing. You certainly can't. It's all inside. It's a HSS ring cutter with a cap on it. You adjust the cap. Here I've got it set quite narrow, under 0.5 millimetre, which gives me these nice fine shavings and leaves a nice clean wall on the inside. If I want to hog out timber quickly, I can set it wider. I can cut very thick shavings and get a lot of timber out quickly. Although this is quite a deep hollowing, it's not particularly big, so I'm going fine all the way. It's really dull trying to sort of video hollowing because, well, I can't see it. I'm doing it purely by feel. And you can't see it either. It's all inside. But, as you can see, the shavings are building up, so I'm obviously cutting wood out. Let's try this view instead. It's all done by feel. Once you get the cut, you just follow the cut through. I'm leaving the rim a little bit wider than the wall thickness because when I finish I want that nice clean bit of unadulterated timber. You'll see why at the end. And that's the wall thickness I'm aiming for. This is a brilliant caliper. You adjust it with a screw, so you can open it up, take it out, let it go back to the screw, and you can see what the wall thickness is, even though you can't actually get it in and out on a straight line. And all I do now is work my way to the bottom, which is 11 inches away, 10.5 inches away. So the tool has to be big. You've got to have a long handle. You've got a huge overhang in front of the tool rest, and the risk of a catch is fairly high because you can't really see what you're doing. So you need to have a big tool to give you the control. As you can see, most of the shavings are stuck inside. This is a fairly wide opening. If you've got a small opening, it's even more of a problem. But yeah, pull them out and carry on. Let's have some music playing now. Or some earworms talking about food. That's what we normally do, isn't it? If you look at the top of the tool there, I've got a piece of tape stuck to it. This is a rough indication to me as to the depth. I don't want to go through the bottom of this, so I need some idea of when I've got there. When you screw up the cut, you tend to fill up and jam the small hole that the shavings come out of, so you've got to poke them out and get going again. Ideally you don't screw up the cut in the first place, and then it's not a problem. Anyway, you can just keep working that wall down, and obviously I'm following a taper and I'm trying to pick up that curve at the bottom, all by feel. And you get somewhere close to where you want it to be, and then you just check it out and see what you've got to do. As you can see, I've achieved what I was after. My bit of tape is level with the entrance, and I've reached the bottom. And not gone through, I hope. Check my sidewalls. It's about 5mm, 1/4 inch. Job done. Now I'm going to put some burning on this. Actually, it's beautiful. It's got a lovely grain pattern, and I want to retain that. Although I'm going to be sanding off the actual burning in a moment, you'll see at the end how it affects the grain. Brings those patterns through the lacquer. I use map gas because it burns really hot, which means I can achieve what I want without actually charcoaling the whole wood piece. Going through the grits, Simon Hope inertia sander, going to 120, 180, 240, 400, usual stuff. Don't normally use an inertia sander on spindle work, but this is a bit different to the normal spindle. Getting the inside, I don't want to stick my fingers in through a small hole into something that's spinning, so I use a stick. I cut a slot at the end of the stick, hold my sandpaper, well, it's not sandpaper, is it? It's cloth, abrasive cloth, and that keeps my fingers out of harm's way. I'm going to change the view in a minute. There we go. You can see that I'm only really going to sand down as far as people can reach. It's quite a big opening on this one, so you know I've got to go a full finger length. If it was a smaller opening, I wouldn't bother. My cut is pretty good inside anyway. So I'm using chestnut ebonising lacquer. You need to get a dark background for Joe Sonia paints to work. As I said, if you want to see how this is done, go and watch Wayne, not me. A little bit of difficulty figuring out the consistency of the paint. I'm using a flow medium and getting it right. It took me a little while. As you can see, I practiced on my dust extractor hood because it's black and it's there, and why not? It's got 3 on there now. It's finished, and yeah, it's prettier. That's the effect I'm going for. I've tried various different techniques out. This is my first ever attempt at this, so I'm going to keep it no matter what. So I could lacquer it, but I've chosen to go for Hampshire Sheen high gloss wax as a finish. That'll protect it and make it shiny. Just work it in. Buffing off, not too much pressure. Careful to keep your fingernails out of it. Just use the pads of your fingers. Fingernail can damage the wood and spoil the finish. And then part it off. This is another one of my videos, how to make a sanding arbor clamp. It's a handy thing because it's made out of the scraps that you've parted off of other pieces of work. Costs you nothing. Go and look up the video for that if you haven't seen it already. It's a really handy tool. It means I don't have to worry about taking the chuck off, and whatever tool I've got a clamp that fits. And I can just stick my standard sanding arbor in there and take that little nub off the bottom after I've parted off. Something big and heavy like this, well, it's not heavy, but you know, big and long, awkward, you tend to get more of a central spindle than you would on something smaller. And I've done this at normal speed and laboured the point because I really want you to go and have a look at my video on making the sanding arbor clamp. If you haven't subscribed already, then yeah, please subscribe. And you know, there's a thumbs up just down the bottom of the screen there. Hit that as well because that helps me a lot. Well, I don't think it does really, but it might help me. Who knows? Can't hurt, can it? And there you go. You can see now where I burnt that grain. It's showing through the lacquer. It's definitely there. It shows it's timber. It's not just black. It's got the grain pattern to it. Ash is lovely for that. As you can see, it's about 10.5, 11 inches tall and about 3.5 inches in diameter-ish. I should do that in metric really, shouldn't I? Well, I'm rubbish. I always do a mix of inches and metrics. Anyway, that's it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I need subscribers. And more importantly, please hit that thumbs up. Really need some more thumbs up. It's really disheartening when you make a video and nobody likes it. If you don't like it, what the hell are you doing still watching? Hit the thumbs up for me. Go on, you know you want to. Thank you very much and hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now. Catch you on the next one.